Welcome back to Weekend Sunrise. On Masters of Spin this morning, Toyota has been forced to hit the brakes on an ad for its Yaris after a series of complaints.
Now, the ad features three siblings racing home to get to their parents' anniversary celebration, but the actions of one of them was too much for the advertising watchdog, forcing it off the air.
Hi, I'm just heading over now. Are you nearly there? Oh, yeah, I'm nearly there. You forgot, didn't you? Message, Jack. You better not be late. I told you like a week ago.
I didn't forget. What are you talking about?
He definitely forgot. Here, pickle.
Wonderful to see.
Jack bought a cake.
Now, our Masters of Spin this morning are advertising and marketing experts Dee Madigan and Matthew Bywater. Guys, good morning to you. Dee, the panel dismissed the complaints about speed but agreed it promoted dangerous driving. Is it the right call?
Yeah, look, it did, because if you see when that car comes out of the shed, you can see the back spin out a little bit, and that's the particular scene. The problem with this ad is the whole idea is built on them being late for something.
Yeah.
So immediately people are going to be watching it a little bit carefully to see, you know, and they were very lucky to get away with the non-speeding things. You know, him going down that track with the dust, it's probably borderline. It's really hard doing car ads. The rules are so strict.
And without making them schmaltzy as well, Matt, you know, because there's, you know, this is funny, it's a funny ad. Toyota has said that they'll modify it for future use. But that's hard. It's a hard line, isn't it?
Yeah, and most of the ad's great. I think it's a fantastic ad. Just that spinning of the wheels means you've got to change. But it's difficult, as Dee said, because a car, we drive a car, we want to drive the car. We're not just a passenger, we're actually driving the car. So you want to show some momentum. You want to show what it feels like to actually drive the car.
And unfortunately, a lot of car ads, to avoid being in this situation, instead of putting an interesting idea into it, which this one has, they'll just pay a lot of money and put a great soundtrack to it. And that's why so many car ads are just a great soundtrack and pictures of someone driving, whereas this is a bit more interesting, but it is a fine
It doesn't have the family all smiling at each other in the car.
Yeah,
That's what all family car trips are like.
So, Dee, how do you do it? How do you make the perfect car ad?
I thought Hyundai did a great one a couple of years ago. It was a family one, and it was basically about who farted in the car. And it was with the kids, and it was like, do you know what, as a parent in the car, that to me was probably one of the best car ads I've seen.
And so simple. I can just imagine the advertising exec coming up with it, you know, that actually happening in the car. To another controversial advertising campaign, an Australian camping retailer, BCF, is in hot water over their ad featuring a man eating a bat in what they say was a light-hearted coronavirus joke. Can you believe it's now been viewed on YouTube 250,000 times, but the bat sequence was edited out for TV? Matt, it seems that BCF is just trying to get themselves into trouble.
Yeah, they do kind of like that viral spread and have a bit of talkability about it. And it is politically sensitive, and they probably knew that. But yeah, they're just trying to have a bit of fun. So.
They're no strangers to the advertising watchdog, BCF. Is that part of their game plan? Is that where they're at now? And why do they keep doing it? Why does it work?
Well, we're talking about it, so that's definitely part of it. And as Matt said, this wasn't, you know, it wasn't a random thing. They did it probably quite deliberately. I'm in two minds. I love the ad because it's well written, it's well produced, it's funny. But, and I know it's satire, they're actually making fun of all those shazzers on Facebook who believe the virus started from someone eating a bat. That's what it's doing. But I wonder that those shazzers see that ad and go, oh, see, it did. So I wonder whether it reinforces. So I think it's probably... I think it probably shouldn't be on TV, that scene.
Great jingle too, isn't it, BCF?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
How does it go?
Boating, camping, fishing. You know the rest.
That's when you know it really works. Heading overseas, and Facebook and Twitter have been quick to ban President Donald Trump this week after the storming of the Capitol building in Washington. Now, Facebook has suspended him until his presidency is over, with Mark Zuckerberg saying that we believe the risks of allowing the president to continue to use our service during this period are simply too great. Dee, this is interesting, isn't it? Would some people see this as double standards?
Look, a little bit would say too little, too late. I think it's absolutely a good idea to ban it for the next 2 weeks. Tensions are just too high. I think banning people full stop is sometimes dangerous because it drives them over to sort of the crazy sites like Parler. But I think there should have been, years ago, Facebook should have stepped in and moderated and pulled posts a lot sooner or corrected them and fact-checked them. So you're better off letting people speak but having accountability there. Otherwise, they'll speak elsewhere and people will listen elsewhere and you don't know what's being said.
So, Matt, is this more of a political move by Facebook?
Yeah, it's hard to say because definitely Facebook have had their issues politically. They've been called in front of Congress many times now to answer that. Are they biased towards the left versus the right? And one of the great fears here is, you've got the argument about freedom of speech, but if people those of the right start leaving Facebook and they go to the likes of Parler, then you're going to have Parler on the right, Facebook on the left. We're not going to be having this great conflagration of ideas. We need people to be debating and arguing. There's an old saying, if you and I have the same mind, then one of us is not required.
Yeah.
So be very, very careful where this takes us.
Yeah, OK. Dee, if you were working for Joe Biden, you give advice to political parties all the time, what would you be telling him to do?
To, once he's president, to pull back the presidency from the media for a while. I think people in America are kind of almost sick of politics and it's inflammatory. Just almost turn the gas down a little bit by pulling back on media for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is almost what he did during the campaign, wasn't it? But
Yes.
that was for a different reason. That was because they thought he'd put his foot in it.
Yeah.
But this time, you think that it just needs to be a real strategy?
Yeah, I think politics is dangerous at the moment in America, and just to pull it down a notch, and that'd be safe for a little while. I think people are sick of politics as well. I think that they don't want to turn the news on and see the American president saying anything at the moment, no matter what president
It truly is exhausting, even to wake up this morning to him then saying, I'm not going to the inauguration. We said, but you said all the good stuff yesterday, Well, what's today? Oh, we've all got whiplash.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Dee. Appreciate it. Good to chat.